much power, man.
These are much longer than I expected them to be, and I love it. Oh no! I accidentally clicked on the main game. Hey, Monica! What just
We were
happened?
just talking about you. Did you hear?
I just had an awful dream. I was hoping those things would stop. Now it's just the two of us. I guess that was wishful thinking. Sharp, I don't know if you have any idea, but you know what might be causing that? Could you try to do something about it? Whenever it happens, it almost feels like I've been killed or something. It's a really horrible feeling. If you could figure out what's causing it, I'll love you forever. Now, where was I? Alright, now we get out of here. Sorry, Monica, I gotta do it to you again. Nope, let me do it to you. Okay, never mind, I gotta wait for her next topic. Damn it! Whoopsie! But I was saying, they're longer than I expected, but they're really freaking good.
They are.
Right now, the order that we've played them in is my favorite order. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Natsuki, she's still trash tier, I'm not gonna lie, but she's trying to peek out of it. She's trying to get out up to F tier, okay? I'll admit.
Probably hear a lot more imbalance. I wonder what self love's about because I've been seeing a lot of fan art and a lot of extra stuff of like Natsuki and Yuri being together and it being like how it was meant to be in a sense. Like they're like really close and really good friends.
And then we
We'll
get
see.
equals to unlock after we do all of them.
Yes, I can't wait to see. I'm really curious on what that last section is going to be.
And it works out that I was going to narrate this one anyway because this is more of a Sayori Natsuki interaction. So let's get into it.
Yeah.
Yatta!
All right. Oh boy.
Ooh,
Rocky!
got a little bit of a jam happening. While Natsuki is messing with the orientation of her manga in the closet shelves, Sayori approaches from behind and pulls her into an embrace.
What? Hi. Hi.
The Literature Club has been full swing since Natsuki joined. Including her, the club is now comprised of 4 members: Sayori, Natsuki, Yuri, and Monica. Each club member has received a day in the spotlight to share all of their favorite kinds of literature with each other. Natsuki was first and shared her passion for manga. Then Sayori shared her love for poetry as well as how she goes into writing it herself. Monica, who has multiple literary interests, decided to focus her day on short stories. And finally, Yuri managed to demonstrate her obsession with fantasy with a little help and encouragement from Sayori. Oh, and the week has spent on their after the week was spent on their presentations, Monica decided to give the club members this next week to freely explore each other's literary interests. Sayori, having spent most of her time in the club so far with Yuri's fantasy books, is rather excited to begin her journey into Natsuki's manga collection.
Want to read with you today? Tell me which one I should pick.
Uh, well, that depends on what kind of stuff you like. I mean, there's like romance, drama, comedy, mystery. If it's you and Pop Tarts, which one's which?
Yeah. Oh, fucking Natsuki is Danny because they both are mean. Sayori's Pop Tarts.
All of those things.
Sayori reaches out and pulls a random book from the shelf and inspects the cover.
Don't these girls be wearing more clothes?
You wouldn't like that one.
In panic, Natsuki snatches the book from Sayori's hand and replaces it on the shelf in a less conspicuous location.
Okay, well, if you really have no preference, then let's just start with something that's easy to get into. A lot of these don't start to get really good until like a few volumes in, and I wouldn't ask someone to make that kind of commitment unless they're already really into manga.
I can handle it. I did it with Yuri's book at least.
Well, I'm more considerate than that. Although, I'm kind of impressed by your attention span if you put that much effort into her books.
No, I have the attention span of a donut. But I love my friends, and I can do anything if it's for them.
Well, okay then. Let's pick you something that even donuts can read.
I didn't say I was a donut. I teacher said I had the attention span of one. Oh, were you trying to call me sweet? You're so cute.
No, how'd you get that from that conclusion? And don't call me that.
A donut?
Cute.
Oh, how come?
I just don't like it. I don't need a reason.
Natsuki yanks a book from the shelf and closes the closet door.
If someone asks you to stop, then you just need to stop. People need to realize that.
I'm sorry. I really didn't mean to hurt you.
Nah. Sorry, it wasn't you.
Natsuki shakes her head while pulling a second chair over to her desk.
I was talking about something else. I didn't mean to get angry all of a sudden.
Natsuki averts her gaze and mumbles.
You're like, well, like a nice person. So I wasn't talking about you.
I still learned a valuable lesson.
Sayori speaks softly as well, feeling shy after receiving the unexpected compliment.
Well, anyway, here's the book. Just start it whenever you feel like it.
What's it about?
Well, it's like a comedy. And there's romance too, obviously.
Sayori looks at the title. It's called Love is Another Word for Luck.
It's about a girl who keeps accidentally running into the same guys. And then you find out, like, well, you should just read it. But you have to tell me what you think. I can already guess who you're gonna ship yourself with. It would be so funny if I'm right.
Ship? I don't get it.
Never mind. Let's not worry about that yet. Just make sure you tell me what you think.
Oh, okay. I'll start then. Hey, maybe tomorrow we can do poetry too.
Oh, yeah, I guess. But don't you want to finish this first?
Yeah, we can do both. I mean, unless you don't like poetry, then I won't make you or anything.
No, it's just, well, never mind. We can worry about it tomorrow.
After the club meeting ends and Natsuki and Yuri leave, Monika strikes up a conversation with Sayori. Like, I see you got Natsuki to share some of her manga with you.
I really want to become better friends with her. She's so enthusiastic and expressive. I could just listen to her talk. She's so I'm not sure if she meant I could say that to her, or if I just can't say it at all.
Say, like what?
Nothing. I am a woman of respect. But Natsuki is a woman of cute. Oh, I said it.
Like, what's so freaking bad about that?
I don't know. But, there's one thing I'm kind of worried about. Sometimes I'm afraid that Natsuki actually doesn't like me very much.
That's, like, ridiculous. How could you, like, feel that way? I know she's, like, very mean all the time and, like, talks in such a demeaning way, but how could you feel like that?
Well, I mean, just little signs. Like, she only says hi to me after I say hi to her first. And it feels like she only gets excited to talk to me when it's about manga and other stuff.
Oh, I understand that already.
She just seems dismissive a lot. She was like that when I brought up poetry.
Yeah, but that, like, doesn't mean she doesn't like you. She's probably just, like, shy, you know?
Maybe. My stupid head is just making me worry for no reason. It likes to do that.
It's like, okay, try not to, like, worry so much, though. Everything will be just, like, great. But you can, like, always talk to me about any concerns that you have. I'm, like, here to help and stuff.
You're the best!
Sayori gives Monika a quick hug.
Well, I'm gonna keep trying because I love her and I want to get closer to her.
Like, you got this, girl. Like, yas, bitch. After the next club meeting starts, Sayori is the last one in as usual. Trotting into the room, she sees Natsuki sitting alone by the closet reading what must be manga. Without hesitation, Sayori pulls up a chair and plops herself right down next to Natsuki.
Oh,
Uh, Hi.
what you reading? Can I read it with you?
Natsuki pulls the book away from Sayori.
Can't just start in the middle. There are spoilers. Besides, what about the one I gave you yesterday?
Sorry, I was just curious.
Well, anyways, I've been waiting forever for this volume to come out, and it just came out yesterday, so...
Oh, that's exciting. Well, I'll let you read it then.
Mm-hmm.
Can I sit next to you, though?
Uh, sure.
Sayori plops herself down next to Natsuki, then pulls out a blank sheet of paper. Natsuki reads in silence, save for the periodic flutter of a page being released from beneath her thumb. From Sayori's side, only the light tapping noise of her pen meeting the paper can be heard. Time passes. Sayori's paper is filled with scribbles, and the margins are lined with stick figures. Natsuki lets out a deep sigh and closes her book.
Did you finish?
No, but it's a good stopping point. My head is swimming. I need a break.
Natsuki stretches her arms.
Aren't you bored?
No, I was writing.
Oh, I saw the stick figures and thought you were just bored.
I just draw those when I'm thinking or waiting for inspiration. I made friends with them all. This one is sad because she thinks the night sky is pretty, but she can't look up at the stars in public without everyone thinking she's a weirdo. And this one has problems with his back, but the doctors can't figure out what's wrong with him.
What the heck? You're the weirdo.
Want a poem I'm working on?
Sure, I guess.
Sayori slides the paper over to Natsuki. As Natsuki reads through the poem, she furrows her eyebrows. She slides the paper back over to Sayori.
Don't you ever feel weird about just sharing all your thoughts and feelings like that? I mean, your poems are like really emotional.
Is that bad?
Well, no. It was just an observation.
I think people can get closer to each other if they find ways to express their feelings.
Well,
Natsuki begins to protest, but she can't find a good way of putting her thoughts into words.
doesn't that depend more on the kinds of friends you have? I don't know. To each their own, but I've never met anyone I'd feel comfortable sharing my poems with. Not that it's you, it's just how I am, so...
You ain't poem?
Wait, we've been over this, hold on.
You never told me that. I just thought you wrote other stuff.
Yeah, that too, but
You should. I mean, would you ever want to share?
like I said, I don't do that.
But
Can we talk about something else?
sorry.
It's not your fault, it just makes me uncomfortable. I can't help it.
But still, I'm sorry.
It's fine.
Well, let's move on to something that makes us both happy. I should continue the book you gave me since I didn't get very far yet.
Sure.
Over the next few days, Sayori begins each club meeting by approaching Natsuki with unwavering enthusiasm.
Natsuki! Natsuki!
Oh god.
At the end of one club meeting, Monica, who has become rather invested in Sayori's friendship mission, starts an innocuous conversation with Natsuki while she packs up. It's cool that you've been finding time to spend with Sayori. She's was pretty excited for the chance to read manga with you and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've been enjoying the chance to share it too, right?
Yeah, mostly.
Natsuki glances over her shoulder but doesn't reply further. What's on your mind?
Nothing. I don't talk about people behind their backs.
Oh? Natsuki falls silent, but she just fidgets instead of getting back to what she was doing, as though she wants to say more. It's, like, okay to share your feelings and stuff. That's different from talking about someone behind their back.
I guess. I just hate when people talk about me behind my back. So I'm better than to do it to others.
Monica shares a bright smile. You're, like, really considerate.
Um, Thanks, I guess, but it doesn't feel like it.
Like, you can trust me. Natsuki stands in silence for a moment, still fidgeting.
I just feel smothered sometimes. I'm not used to someone being like all over me right after we meet. I mean, it's fun to hang out with her, but I just have no control over the pace. I can't just meet someone and instantly become best friends with them and like share everything about myself. That's not how it works. I just want to chill out sometimes.
Oh, I, like, didn't realize that was happening.
It's fine. Why would you have?
I know, I just, like, feel bad about it. I, like, no Sayori, so I should have, like, realized. Monica navigates through a tinge of guilt, which has surfaced mainly due to her being the one who can previously encourage Sayori's behavior. Despite not knowing the situation, Monica can't help but feel a little responsible. Do you, like, want me to tell her about it?
No, I wouldn't like that.
Well, I could, I don't know, I could, like, divert her into another club activity for you or something?
No way. That would be so underhanded and mean.
Sorry, I didn't think that one through.
Besides, just because I complain about it doesn't mean I'm asking for someone to solve my problems for me.
True. I'm sorry. I guess I just, like, instinctively want to try and solve problems even if I haven't been invited to.
It's fine. I would talk to Sayori about it, but it would make things really weird between us. I feel like it would make her just constantly be afraid that she's bothering me. I don't I don't know how to just keep things natural.
Well, I think if you do a good job expressing all of, like, your feelings, she would, like, totally understand. Sayori really wants to be, like, the best she can be for other people. I think she would, like, actually be happy if you want to improve your friendship with her.
Maybe. Uh, It just feels so dumb. Talking to someone about how to be friends with them is just weird and not cool.
Monica shrugs. It's like the literature club. Then she mumbles through a stifled laugh. It's not the cool club.
Hey,
Sorry, I know I'm, like, the most popular girl in school, but that just, like, tickled me for some reason. Look, I know that you're, like, kind of in a tight spot and stuff, and it's hard for you to, like, really express yourself, but you've really demonstrated to me that you're great at, like, self-reflection and critical thinking, even if it, like, doesn't feel like it to you. I think that's the most, like, important part of being able to navigate through these things. So I, like, believe that you'll find the right thing to do.
well,
Natsuki instinctively starts to reject the compliment, but she can't find any excuse to do so.
thanks.
Natsuki gathers her things, then she finishes her thought in a mumble.
I'm still glad I joined the club, even if it's weird sometimes.
Monica smiles, but Natsuki turns her back and walks away before waiting for a reply. It was an unusual way for Natsuki to express her appreciation, but Monica knew what she meant. It made Monica feel like everything everything really was going to be okay. I got mail.
Into ethics. You already got ethics, of course, right?
Yeah. I got binary data in Virtual Machine 2. I've made some new headway in Virtual Machine 2. Don't get too excited, it's still impossible to establish any kind of stable connection. But it occurred to me that I could at least run a memory dump through some pattern analysis routines to see if we can decipher any digital data from their virtual machine. I didn't want to hog all the server time on a hunch, but I have some preliminary results that indicate the presence of binary computer systems. Based on this, I'm going to schedule 3 days of server time next week to isolate my chunks of memory that appear to be binary data. If successful, we'll definitely be able to find some encoded text that get our first tiny glimpse into Virtual Machine 2. Don't mind me though, I'm just keep going nuts on Virtual Machine 1 and hopefully I'll have more to share soon. Huh. I am still very much lost on what Virtual Machine 2 would be. Interesting.
Oh no, man.
Let's go to Balance Part 2. And I'll continue to narrate because we're going to have a lot of Natsuki horseshit and Sayori horseshit.
Yeah.
It's lunchtime. Sayori, who usually buys her lunch, is making her way to the cafeteria like any other day. The clamor and bustle of the students is drowned by Sayori's impeccable skill of zoning out. However, her imagination is momentarily interrupted by the glimpse of a familiar pink-haired girl.
Hey, that's Natsuki. I never run into the club members around the school. Natsuki!
Sayori stands on her tiptoes and waves. Natsuki, who is busy walking and chatting with her friends, doesn't notice Sayori at first. Then she glances over in Sayori's direction. Sayori waves enthusiastically. Following her friends, Natsuki quickly ducks around the corner.
Hey! She definitely saw me.
She hates you. Monica is the first to arrive at the club meeting, then Natsuki. Sayori, having glanced through the window to see Natsuki already inside, is unable to work up enough courage to enter.
Natsuki's been so distant with me. I was stupid to think she ever wanted to be friends. She only got excited because she got to share her manga. But aside from that, she doesn't even like me. I should just go home today.
I'll walk home alone today. Sorry, but do you plan to go inside?
No,
Why?
I'm sulking.
Oh. Well, I'm sorry for bothering you. Excuse me. Yuri's a fucking mood.
No, don't leave me.
I'll stay here then.
I don't want to go in. I'm afraid of bothering Natsuki. I saw her at lunch today, so I waved and called out her name. But instead of saying hi, she just ran away.
Really? Not bad.
Hey!
Sorry, I'm sorry. That was a joke. It just sounded like something stupid that I would do from anxiety.
Anxiety?
Well, I just don't like attention being drawn to myself.
Oh. Well, that makes sense based on the person you are, but Natsuki isn't shy like that at all. I thought we were friends. But it feels like every day she's trying to distance herself more instead of getting closer. It makes me feel like she was only spending time with me during the club because I was reading manga. But she doesn't actually want to be friends with me.
Well, I feel like I've missed a lot of context here. Was she in the middle of anything when you approached her?
No, she was just walking with her friends.
With her friends? Yuri pauses for a moment. How do I put this? Sayori, you're very fond of your friends, right? You always want to be spending time with them?
Of course! Think there's anything more important to me. I mean, the best part of my day are always with my friends. Besides that, I really hate being alone, so...
You hate being alone? Sayori nods. We're very different people. I cherish my alone time. I wouldn't trade it for anything. So I think, well, if I was trying to have alone time and it was being threatened with an interruption, then it just would not make me very happy.
Yeah, but that doesn't have to do with Natsuki. She was already with friends, not trying to be alone or anything.
No, I think it's similar. It's, well, we're all friends in the club, but we have our own lives outside the club as well. If you think about it, Making new friends isn't some casual occurrence that happens on a daily basis. A friendship is an invitation to intertwine your lives together. But the capacity at which each person is ready to do that might be different. There are friends who just like to have fun together, and others who talk every day and share every detail of their lives with each other. I think when establishing a friendship, it's important to consider the comfort level of the other person. I mean, we don't really know much about Natsuki's life outside the club. It could just be that she simply needs to make friends at her own pace, rather than just jump headfirst into a new commitment.
Yuri is so smart.
She's so fucking smart, just spitting facts constantly.
That means I really was bothering her. I just really wanted to be good friends with her, so I treated her like one. Was I actually hurting her?
I don't think... I'm sorry. My insight was really only based on what I understand about my own needs. And Natsuki and I are completely different, so...
Why was I so selfish? Even if all that is true, then that still means I hurt her. I think I messed up. Yuri, with you, I think I was really careful to understand your needs when I was becoming friends with you, but I wasn't careful at all with Natsuki because she already seemed really social. I just took control of everything instead of looking for the right balance. Now I hurt her and she doesn't want to talk to me. How could I let myself do this?
Sayori, I think that, well, there was this one time you told me something about the way I saw things in my head being different from reality. It's easy to automatically jump to the worst case scenario, but I think it's more likely that Natsuki doesn't harbor any ill feelings towards you. So I think that if we were more realistically consider the situation and how it would cause someone to feel, I'm bad at this, I'm sorry. You're a lot better than me at things like comforting and reassuring people. Suddenly Sayori gives Yuri a gentle hug.
You're the best, Yuri. I'm sorry for burdening you with this. You're trying so hard for me. You're such a sweetheart.
It's not a burden. I enjoy listening to others, and my friends deserve happiness. Sayori beams.
Well, I think I'm gonna give Natsuki some space. She should do the same, do what she wants. And if she does still want to be friends, then I'll learn her needs and I'll match her boundaries. Yeah, I'm sure that's what's best. I wish I didn't feel so awful and guilty. It makes me feel desperate, like I need to make it up to her by trying to make her happy, but that's not what she needs. I just have to tell myself that. It hurts, but I guess it means I still need to grow. I really want to grow as a person. If it's to be better for my friends, I want that.
That's very mature of you, Sayori.
I'm mature.
Sayori hops up and down on her toes. So, does that mean you'll be going home after all? Sayori shakes her head.
I need to be here to show her that I respect her space. I'll just spend the club day by myself.
Yuri nods in understanding.
You can go in first.
Okay. You're blocking the door. Sayori steps aside.
By the way...
Before Yuri enters the club room, Sayori interjects.
You said that you and Natsuki are completely different, but I don't really think that's true. I think you're actually really similar in a lot of ways.
Yuri smiles and shakes her head. Sayori, that's absurd. You're very silly sometimes. Yuri turns and enters the club room. After a moment, Sayori follows.
Very similar, you say.
The club room is quiet. When Sayori walks in, Natsuki glances in her direction. Sayori smiles and gives Natsuki a quick wave before sitting down across the room. Yuri's face is already buried in a book. Sayori decides it's best to continue the manga she was reading, so she pulls it out. However, it looks like Natsuki isn't reading today. She has a sheet of paper in front of her and is tapping a pen against her desk, staring at it. Oh, are we like writing today? Monica speaks in a quiet voice. Oh, are we like writing today? Unwilling to disturb the peace of the club room, she kneels down at Natsuki's desk.
Hey,
Natsuki pulls the sheet closer to her and covers it with her arms. Sorry, I didn't mean to like peek.
whatever.
I just like wanted to see how everything was going.
It's fine.
Natsuki replies dismissively. She glances over at Sayori, who's focused on her manga. Monica follows Natsuki's gaze.
I think she's mad at me.
Like, how come?
I'm busy right now. Ask me later.
Shut up, Natsuki. Monica falls silent. Natsuki looks back down at her paper. She inches her hand away from the top margin, allowing Monica to see. It says, to Sayori. Understanding, Monica smiles. She places her hand on Natsuki's shoulder and whispers softly, I'm proud of you. Natsuki looks away, but makes no motion to remove Monica's hand. Monica gives Natsuki's shoulder a quick squeeze before standing back up and pulling away. Cute. The end of the club meeting passes. Yuri has already departed. So has Monica. After checking on Sayori and Natsuki to ensure that they wouldn't stay too late. Sayori was determined to finish her manga volume before heading out since the end was approaching. However, with Natsuki also staying late for an unknown reason, a silent tension hangs in the air. After finishing the volume, Sayori brings it to the closet to put it away. She slides it back on the shelf while Natsuki watches. Then Natsuki gets up and pulls it back out in order to return it to the proper location.
Sorry. I didn't know where it's supposed to go.
It's fine.
The two fall silent again, avoiding eye contact. They both look like they're about to say something, but neither can break the silence. A moment passes.
Well, I'll be on my way. See you tomorrow.
Sayori turns away to hide her pained expression, then walks away from the closet. If there is any proof Natsuki no longer wanted to be friends, this was it. Defeated, Sayori carries herself out of the club room. What can you do? Once in the hallway, Sayori takes a deep breath and hits her palms against her cheeks to clear her head a little. Suddenly, Natsuki's stammering voice calls from behind.
Natsuki?
Startled, Sayori turns around to face Natsuki.
Oh, what an interesting pic. I did not expect
It's
this to be a
dumb
picture.
Pic. Natsuki fidgets and anxiously continues a shaking voice.
I have a lot of things to say.
Me too. But you go first.
Natsuki bites her lips and can't stay still.
Well, first of all,
She cuts herself short, struggling to continue. Trying to force the words out, she's stamping her foot and hops up and down a little.
I'm sorry for the thing I did at lunch. I'm sorry for being kind of mean lately.
Lately,
It's really hard for me to I'm not good with things that make me uncomfortable. Especially when it comes to like feelings and stuff. So,
face burning, Natsuki clams up again. Instead of continuing, she simply holds up a sheet of paper for Sayori to take.
the best place in the world. I love my bedroom. It's full of bright colors and soft things. The sunlight shines in and makes everything sparkle. It's the best place in the world. It has all my treasures, all my books, my collections, my memories. All of my dreams were born in this room. It's the best place in the world. It has all my secrets, all my failures, my fears, my feelings. Sometimes it feels so fragile that the door will break at the slightest touch, but it's still the best place in the world. But when someone knocks, I get scared. I brace my arms against those hinges. Please don't break. Don't come in. I'm not ready. It's my best place in the world. The knocking won't stop. I block the door with furniture. An eye peeks through the keyhole and I panic. I'm trapped in the best place in the world. I'm not ready to share my favorite place. I need to clean my secrets and make my bed to hide my nightmares. I need to touch them to put them away, to see them again. I have so much to do and I'm scared. I'm not ready. But it's still my favorite place. I still want to share, however long it takes. If you wait patiently, I'll eventually open the door and I'll show you the best place in the world.
It's a poem. But I thought.
Well, yeah, first of all, that's like the deepest poem she's ever written. But it was a good poem, nonetheless. Well, I sucked it up so that I could work things out with you. So just be happy about it, please.
Sayori smiles deeply from the bottom of her heart.
I'm happier than I could express. I feel so awful, but I'm so happy that you would do this for me. I actually realized before the club meeting today that I made a mistake. I got so caught up in the chance to get closer to you that I forgot to think about what you wanted. And that we probably have different ways we like to make friends.
About like the friendship stuff, I mean,
It's okay. I understand, so you don't have to force yourself to talk about it. Your poem did a good job. So don't force yourself if you're not ready yet, okay?
Natsuki nods.
You don't have to feel like you did anything wrong. It was my fault. I'm sorry. I wasn't mad at you today or anything like that. I actually felt really guilty and wanted to give you space. I was thinking it's silly that I just approach you all the time and that I should just let you approach me when you want to. Just whatever makes you comfortable. I'll respect that from now on. Friendships should always start with those things. With the right balance.
Natsuki nods again.
one thing about that. Well, I don't want to have to approach you all the time either. I just want it to be balanced, like you said.
Sayori nods.
I understand. We'll make sure of that together then.
Well, anyway,
Now that the two of them have found common ground, Natsuki finds it easier to speak more freely again.
I'm not gonna be like sharing my poems all the time now, or anything like that, but I guess it wouldn't hurt to do once in a while. Only the best ones. So you better like them, because otherwise I might change my mind.
I like anything you do, Natsuki.
I was just saying.
More importantly, I have to tell you about my new boyfriend.
Huh? Oh, from the manga. Wait, I need to guess who it is.
Definitely won't be able to guess.
The two walk down the hallway together.
Oh my god. We have so much to talk about. Darn, I should have told you to save the last two chapters so I could see your reaction to the big reveal.
You wanted to enjoy it with me. That's so cute.
Oh, shush. Let's reflection part 1.
Part 1, baby.
Narration.
You're
my
the
guy.
narrator,
I got
because
you.
fucking Yuri and... Oh my god, my poor heart is gonna break into 1,000 pieces with these two. Like, am I bothering you? No? Okay, I'm like, just checking. It's hard to tell since you like always look like you're into it when you're like reading. It makes me scared to like interrupt. Well, it's within my expectations to be interrupted when I read here. It's mainly when I'm by myself that I don't like it. That like makes sense. I guess if you're like here in the first place, then you're like more ready to socialize, even if it like takes a bit of prodding. I'm not so bad to be social if I let others do the work, so it can be healthy to put myself in a social environment every now and then. It's mostly difficult when I don't know everyone, or know anyone, or there are too many people, or everyone is being too silly for me to keep up with.
Yuri glances across the room at Sayori and Natsuki. Sayori has her head cocked back and her mouth open, trying to catch pieces of cookie that Natsuki is lobbing into the air. But the pieces keep bouncing off her face and hitting the floor.
Like, maybe I should, like, say something? No need, they just ran out of cookie. What a waste. They're, like, really becoming good friends, haven't they? I'm, like, so freaking happy. Sayori seems particularly good at making that happen. But the two of them are both on the energetic side, so I suppose it works out well. Yeah, come to think of it, you and I, like, haven't had many chances to, like, talk one-on-one, have we? Though that may be particularly my fault, since I'm, like, supposed to be the one engaging club members? Not at all. I've probably formed a habit of drawing minimal attention to myself. The responsibility is equally on me, at least to display some openness to engage. Well, like, what about during the times like lunch? Do you, like, meet up with other friends and stuff? I just read. Oh, but I like it that way. It feels nice to be carried off again after a morning of classes. Do you, like, always read fantasy and stuff? Oh, not always. I suppose it's all I have read recently, but only because I'm in the middle of this series. There are still 2 more books after this one. I guess those long books, like, suit you well, since you spend so much, like, time reading them. Well, fantasy may be my favorite, but after that, I'm more or less indiscriminate to genres. I'll read anything with depth and maturity. Oh, yeah? Even, like, romance? Well, there are a lot of books that have elements of romance in them. Oh, come on, Yuri. You know what I frickin' mean. Like, ooh. Monica
lowers her voice.
Oh, sorry. I'm just doing it. I went right into the narrator. It's a guilty pleasure of mine, so, like, I won't tell anyone if you do, too. Maybe more when I was in middle school. I mean, I was really lonely, and people were mean to me a lot. So I just kind of felt like, please don't make me think about the past. Sorry, I just got, like, super curious. You know, we should, like, totally pick out a romance novel to read. That would be, like, so much fun. Absolutely not. Really? Even if it was just, like, between us? Try asking someone who has no shame, like Natsuki.
Yeah!
Fucking roaster! Ouch. Sorry, I swear I didn't mean that. Well, I guess it was, like, my fault for pressing you. I'm like that for things in my past, too. You know, things I feel like too embarrassed to re-experience. There's nothing wrong with growing out of things. It happens to everyone. For instance, Natsuki's interest in manga reminds me quite a bit of how intense I used to be about my own interests. It makes me think that she'll likely grow out of it, too.
Hey, were you talking about me?
No, we were just talking about how our interests have changed over the years. When did you, like, get into manga, Natsuki?
Like a couple years ago, I guess. I was already sort of into it before that, but I wasn't really going hard until then.
Oh, yeah? What was it like that, what was it that, like, inspired you to, like, get more into it?
I don't know. I guess, let me think. It was after I discovered a series that I really liked. Yeah, I was just, like, really fed up with a lot of things, and I got super into this one series, and I really related to. I guess I had an edgy phase where I just hated everyone around me and wanted to be by myself.
Kind of like Yuri. Monica. Sorry. That's completely wrong, so it's still cool that you both, like, really found your thing. They're almost like opposites, but it sounds like they help you a lot through some, like, hard times and stuff.
You know it. Wow, what the heck? Is that book even bigger than the last two? The last one you were reading?
Uh, um, it's technically slightly longer, but not by very much.
How high do you think it might go if you stacked up the whole series? Natsuki estimates by holding her hand high above her head, sizing up an imaginary stack. I should get one of those mangas, like 50 volumes long, so that I can say I've read more than you. Not that I have the money for that, because I'm a
Please.
broke girl.
Please, that would hardly count when your books only have a few words per page. Fucking roaster, Yuri.
I know, I was joking. I could never actually read books like yours. It's too boring for me. Yuri shoots a glance at Natsuki.
It's not boring.
Chill, I said for me, not for you. I can have my own opinion. I just think it's too convoluted.
Sayori, are those from, like, the floor? God damn it.
Gross. Also, wash your hands before touching any of my books.
My hands aren't dirty.
Just do it. The oils that are on it, even if you can't see them.
Fine.
Sayori trots out the door and Natsuki follows.
Yuri, you look like a little upset. What kind of nerve does she have calling my hobby boring? Well, she did, like, correct herself. Hardly. She was so condescending. I don't mind if she thinks it's not for her. I already understand that it's not for everyone. But she knows well how much this means to me. So how about just leaving me alone instead of needlessly telling me the things you hate about it? I'm sorry, Yuri. You might be right. Like, this won't be the last time people have strong feelings about, like, what they like and don't like. Especially in a literature club. So I should, like, figure out how to meditate discussions to help keep them positive and, like, constructive and stuff. For the record, I've always been impressed by the level of your creativity in your books, and also, like, your ability to get through them so freaking quickly. Thank you. Okay, well, this is something that I'll have to think about and revisit. I'm sure I can help Natsuki find some common ground with you. Common ground isn't necessary. I just wish to be respected. That, then. Either way, I'll do my freaking best. I'm skeptical when it comes to Natsuki. Me too, you're a fucking teller. I trust you, Monica, but I'm skeptical. Like, okay, everyone! We have a special club meeting today. As you know, the Literature Club is like a place where we can get to share things that, like, we're really passionate about. But that also means we should, like, be mindful of how we respond to each other's feelings. I think we have, like, a chance to turn our differences into a positive energy for each other.
Aren't you being a little dramatic about this?
This is, like, freaking important to me.
Well, sorry. I just feel like I'm being accused or something.
No, I'm not accusing anyone of anything. I'm sorry if it came off that way. But, like, our conversation yesterday made me reflect on the power of language, and I thought it would be a good topic for the Literature Club, don't you think? I'm sure we're going to have differences in opinion a lot, so I need to make sure we're prepared to keep positive atmospheric in the club.
If you say so.
Sure! The cool thing about the language is that it gives you a lot of different ways to, like, express the same idea or emotion. We have a lot of control over how we want other people to feel when we're receiving our thought. This goes for poetry, narratives, casual conversation, basically, like, frickin' anything. For example, Sayori, what's your, like, favorite food?
I'm organized by category. Should I start with snacks or do you mean full meals? Should I include breakfast?
Oh, jeez. Okay, how about your favorite fruits? Let's start there.
Oh, that's easy. Cherries.
Really? I always thought cherries tasted, like, so frickin' nasty.
What? Cherries are delicious.
Whoa, that's, like, a pretty strong reaction.
Well, I just don't understand how somebody could think cherries are nasty.
How does it make you feel?
I don't know. Sad?
Defensive, maybe?
Yeah, I got defensive.
See? The reason that you had such a strong reaction wasn't just because I don't like cherries. It's because you felt like your opinion was under attack. But that's weird, right? Something like taste is completely freaking subjective. But when I say something like I think cherries are just freaking nasty and gross and utterly disgusting, I'm using objective language. I'm challenging Sayori's reality that cherries are delicious with my own, which is that cherries are freaking nasty and gross and no one should ever eat them ever again. Just leave them on the ground where they fall.
Hold on. How was that objective? Sorry, it was the perfect time for her to actually cut off.
It was good.
How was that objective when you just said it was only your own opinion?
It has to do with the way our brains, if you really think about it, our brains interpret the words. You're talking about the reality of the cherries, not your feelings about them. Sayori. Let's rewind for a second and pretend I didn't tell you that I think cherries are frickin' nasty.
Good.
So, what if instead of that, I said, I tried cherries and they're just not for me. It's not the kind of flavor I frickin' enjoy and stuff.
Well, that's fine. As long as you don't call them nasty. Nasty is a nasty word.
Okay, so cherries was kind of a weird example, but I think it gets the point across. This time around, instead of talking about cherries, I just talked about my feelings, and Sayori didn't get frickin' defensive. So instead of clashing with each other, it's like we received an invitation to talk about our differences. Yuri, you don't need to take notes. I'm not gonna quiz you or something. I know. I just, sorry, I didn't mean to call you out. You can do whatever you freaking like. But does anyone have any thoughts so far?
Yeah. I just feel like I shouldn't have to put all my language through a filter just to protect someone's feelings.
Well, you don't have to. The choice is yours on how you want to come across to other people, even if it's a little bit of a bitch. But I'm also suggesting it's also a tool to help you turn your differences into a positive experience rather than an argument. Right, Sayori?
Say, cherry hater.
Come on, Sayori, my god. Sayori, I actually like cherries, okay? I was just saying that to help demonstrate.
What the heck? I've been duped.
Sayori, you're making it so hard to, make your ranking going up actually legitimate. Oh my god. I'm sorry, Sayori. I'll make it up to you later. How about a cherry sundae?
You are welcome to dupe me anytime, my beloved president.
Buying your people's loyalty. How deplorable.
Oh, like you would turn down a free sundae, Yuri. You were certainly a fan of those cupcakes I brought in the other week.
That was... I was reading and not keeping track of them. Oh, that's a freaking enough. We're getting off topic. So now that we have the gist of it, how about we try it with something more relevant to the club? Like manga, right? Let's try to have a productive discussion about our differences in opinion. Yuri, do you want to start?
Well, I'd rather not, no.
How come?
Well, because I don't see how anything productive can come from that. I was just going to start a fight.
No, it'll be freaking fine. That's why I'm here to moderate. Let's just have a calm and rational discussion.
Yeah, give me a little more credit. I'm not a child. You don't have to coddle my feelings. I always think it's more respectable to just speak your mind.
Respectable?
Yuri's expression changes at that word, my bad. As Monica recalls, being respected was the crux of the matter for Yuri.
Well, the point of the exercise isn't exactly
It's fine. I have nothing against anyone personally. You're entitled to enjoy whatever it is you like. I just prefer more depth and nuance in my reading material. I look for stories that are imaginative and sophisticated beyond the surface level.
Oh, Well, that's just a misunderstanding then. I thought you were gonna say that manga's for children or something. Like, I don't hear that enough. But there's plenty of deep manga.
I'm not clueless about manga. I've read my own fair share when I was younger.
What? Are you serious? How come you never told me?
Because I'm past that point in my life, and I really prefer not to revisit it. I prefer more mature things now. Yeah.
Excuse me?
Okay, like, hold on. Can I, like, jump in here? Like, let's try to keep things subjective. Oh my god. Because if you, like, imply that manga is immature, then aren't you implying that someone is immature for being into it?
Well, maybe it's immature to judge people for having different tastes than you.
Natsuki?
Nobody's immature. I've read Natsuki's manga and Yuri's fantasy, and I love them both in their own way.
Okay, okay. It's great that you like it, but I still find it boring.
Boring isn't subjective.
Okay, it bores me. That's subjective.
But, I mean, the thing about... This is ridiculous. Do you see why I didn't even want to participate in this? I knew it was just going to make people upset.
I'm not upset. Like I said, I don't care what other people think. But I always get the impression that you secretly look down upon me, so I'm glad my suspicions were confirmed.
That's not true at all. You're making up assumptions. You can't blame me for getting defensive when nobody ever has the least bit of respect for the things that I'm into. The only thing I look down upon is when people make fun of me for just being myself and trying to mind my own business.
What? Have you looked in the mirror? Tell me again about respect after calling all my interests immature.
You can't...
Please, stop. Please? You don't mean the things you're saying right now. Let's just be friends.
Like, I didn't mean for this to happen. Well, it did. So please don't invite yourself to try and solve other people's problems next time, okay?
Yuri's piercing words send the club room into a choked silence as she gathers her things. She leaves. Holy crap. I've never heard her sound like that before. She must be so pissed.
Well, like, you weren't being very nice either.
Yeah, but I was just saying.
How did this happen?
It's like my freaking fault. Yuri wasn't wrong. I should have, like, have tried to moderate. I shouldn't have, like, tried to moderate a conflict when I know how bad I am at, like, dealing with conflicts. It was, like, really stupid for me to do.
No fault. It wasn't stupid. Everyone in the club is a nice person. Nobody would have expected this. But I guess we're sensitive about the things we really love.
Honestly, she kind of brought it upon herself. What? Like I said, why are you... I've not felt super sad about you this whole time. You're killing me. Love, you're killing me.
That's because she's a terrible person.
Like I said, I don't care if you're not into manga, but if you actually look down on other people for it...
That's like kind of the point I was trying to make in the first place. It's like not about sugarcoating things. It's about like just recognizing and understanding our freaking differences.
Okay, but here's the thing about that. Yuri actually looks down on me. Oh, well, I mean, if that's what you're seeing, I'm not upset with you if that's what you're seeing. It has nothing to do with her word choice or anything like that. So I see what you were trying to do, but I really think the problem here is her. Not just like the way we talk to each other, right?
I mean...
Yuri isn't like that. She's a lot sweeter than you're giving her credit for. I'm sure she'll be reflecting on this. I actually think everyone should.
Like, it'll be fine. I'll like figure something out. Wow, I'm just like saying that instinctively. I'm just like setting myself up to cause more frickin' problems.
This wasn't your fault, Monica. You don't have to beat yourself up over it. If you ask me, it's good that the truth finally came out because I can just move on now.
But
It's fine, I promise. Let's just get our mind off of this, okay? In fact, it's a good opportunity to read some manga without having to worry about feeding Yuri's superiority complex.
be mean. I'll talk or read manga or whatever you want, but don't be mean to my friends, okay?
Whatever, I'm sorry. I'm just bitter.
Everything like be okay. I mean, I don't have the answers, but I at least know that we're all good people and like we don't want to hurt each other and stuff. This is just like will be a learning experience.
Well, Monica says that, but her uneasiness is given away by how much she has to force the reassuring tone in her voice. This was bound to happen eventually. Natsuki and Yuri have always engaged with each other over the wait. They've always engaged with each other the least out of everyone. Okay. And this is the reason. As Sayori and Natsuki proceed to distract themselves with manga, Monica sighs to herself, unable to shake her worried thoughts. Will the club really have to just come to terms with the fact that some members will be incompatible with each other? Monica desperately doesn't want to admit that, and she knows Sayori doesn't either. But for once, a solution doesn't seem to be in sight. Yeah. No. Oh, did we already do reflection part two?
No,
Okay. Yeah, I'm
we did
tripping out. I
reflection
was
part
looking
one.
at it. Yeah, I was looking at it, and I was like, "Damn, we're already on self-love."
That would have been a very terrible ending to one of these side stories.
Like in my head, I was like, "No new pictures, no nothing." Damn, I was just
Just
okay.
sad.
Bring the fucking heat. Let's go. New day arrives. Sayori arrives at the classroom earlier than usual. That is, not late. As she enters, it appears to be empty still. So she sits down at a desk and pulls out a sheet of paper, primed to jot down her thoughts. Sayori has made a habit of scribbling her thoughts and feelings onto paper whenever possible, as it tends to serve as the best inspiration for poetry.
Uh, my heart feels vacant because a ship sailed away.
Yo. Natsuki pokes her head out from behind the closet door. Sorry, I didn't mean to scare you, but it would have been a lot more awkward if I didn't say anything. I doubt you want me listening in on your poetry thing.
Yeah, thanks for realizing that.
Did I let you finish that out then?
Tip. I mean, I just do it whenever it's convenient. You're not interrupting.
Where's Monica, by the way?
She's. Hey,
Huh? Why?
well, just in case she runs into Yuri. Sometimes Yuri's too nervous to come into the club room by herself, so.
Oh, jeez. Does Yuri really let things bother her for that long?
She can't control her feelings. Stop. For some people, it's really hard to cope when you get a bad thought in your head. Maybe you can distract yourself for a little while, but as soon as it's just you and your thoughts, again, it comes back. Hmm?
I just want us to have a normal club meeting. It's a lot easier to pretend like it never happened if we all just ignore it and move on. I don't want to be bothered by this. It's so stupid. Her opinion of me doesn't matter anyways. Besides, it makes me feel really guilty, and I hate that too.
It's okay to have feelings. It doesn't make you weak. Let's figure this out together.
Fine. Only because you're good at this stuff.
Let's try to come up with a happy scene. Maybe that will help us understand where your bad feelings are coming from.
Well, I was happy the way things were before we had to have that conversation yesterday.
What part of the conversation made you upset? Was it Yuri being mean? About the manga?
Maybe, I doubt it though. Because my friends and other people make fun of the manga all the time, but I just brush it off and ignore them. But something about it really got to me this time, and I hate that I'm letting that happen.
Is it because of Yuri? Maybe something at home?
No, why would that matter? I mean, well, maybe. I hate that she thinks she's so much better than me. Just because she likes to pretend to be all sophisticated. Yeah, that's what it is. At least other people decide that they don't like me, or manga, or whatever. But Yuri acts like she's too good to even give it a chance.
I'm sorry. Everyone deserves a chance.
Yeah, exactly.
Would you give Yuri's book a chance?
After this? Obviously not.
Well, what about before?
What? Well, I would until I got bored, which wouldn't take very long. But you actually keep an open mind, or if you actually keep an open mind, then it's not hard to realize that a story can be deep and meaningful without being needlessly complicated.
I see. But I like Yuri's books.
Yeah, but you like manga more, right? Oh god. Sayori shakes her head.
I like them both. I like them in different ways, but I like them both. I mean, the manga is really honest and fun and easy to just let go with. And the fantasy has quite a lot to interpret and uncover. It's really rewarding to have some good quiet time together with it. But the most important thing is that both of the manga and the fantasy are true to themselves. So I love them both. And I think there's room for both of them to be in the same club together. And I just feel like maybe they have more in common than you would think.
How do you get along with everyone so well? I always get into fights with people.
Oh, so something
Like,
about you.
first... Oh, shit. Sounds like a you thing. Like, first it was with Monica when I was new to the club, and then it was with you, and now it's Yuri. Yeah, it does sound like a you thing at that point.
Yeah, that's what I've been saying. Everybody's over here trying to defend Natsuki. Fuck Natsuki, dude.
Always like, that person is being such a jerk. And if they just realize that, then we could all get along. But nobody else has this problem. I just keep running away from the reality that everybody's just a jerk to me because nobody likes me. Oh, she just doesn't feel right. And I don't know why. I don't know what to do about it. I don't know what's wrong with me. I hate it.
Natsuki,
Sayori puts a comforting hand on Natsuki's shoulder.
you're a wonderful person. You deserve to be loved as much as everyone else. Everyone has different ways that they like to communicate. Sometimes that makes it harder for us to understand each other. I think that sometimes we get lucky and make friends who are really good at the same kinds of communication. And it feels like you magically connect with them. But other times, even if both people are really nice, it's easy for them to misunderstand each other or to get the communication wrong. It's something that Yuri struggles a lot with too. It can be really hard. It takes a lot of like reflection and self-awareness and vulnerability.
I'm bad at that one. Vulnerability. I always have to be the strongest.
What do you mean? Tell me about that part of you.
Well, it sounds stupid, but I'm really used to people being mean to me. Like my friends and I guess my dad.
Oh, poor girl. Poor girl.
Like when I get good grades or even stupid things like if my room isn't, oh, when I don't get good grades, or even stupid things like if my room isn't clean. So, what am I gonna do? Cry about it? If I let myself get upset, then it's just letting them win. I'm better than that. I'm better than all of them. So things always have to be everyone else's fault. Well, that's a shitty way to look at it.
Huh?
It feels like
It's like she's looking down on everybody else, huh? Fucking get over yourself,
yeah.
Natsuki. Stupid idiot. Also, I thought this was gonna be a Yuri and Monica thing.
Yeah, that picture definitely fucking lies. It feels like why did lie? Trust issues. It feels like if something goes wrong and there's even a tiny hint that it might be my fault, then I just get really angry and I find ways to blame everything else instead. They already hit her with some knowledge because I can't handle it right now.
Do you see yourself as better than Yuri?
Oh yeah, sure.
Fucking
If I said
spit
that,
facts in
I
her
would be
face.
just. Then I would sound just really full of myself.
No, thoughts and our feelings are two different things. Even if we don't like our feelings, we have to understand them if we want to learn more about themselves. That's a part of vulnerability, you know? Accepting that we have feelings that we don't like.
I I hate that. My feelings make me a bad person because my feelings just want to tell me that I'm so much better than her. That she's a judgmental know-it-all who's stuck in her edgy phase and that I'm just way above that garbage. But I'm terrible for feeling that way.
You're not terrible. You're not your feelings.
But
You are not your feelings. Say that to yourself out loud.
fine, I'm not my feelings.
You live in the same house and you gotta see each. Wait. You live in the same house and you gotta see each other every day. And even if you can ignore each other most of the time, you're gonna run into each other every now and then. And it's gonna make you feel like poop.
Why does poop make me laugh?
So the only other option is to get to know each other. You can communicate and learn from each other and maybe even help each other for the better. Does that help you understand?
Why do you know so much about this stuff?
I just have a roommate that can be really hard to get along with, called depression.
Oh, she actually says it. I thought you added that.
Depression? But you're like the happiest person I know.
Feelings.
I want to be a good person like you.
You little sweetheart. We're all good people. You and Yuri and Monica. And I think Yuri will eventually learn that about you.
Natsuki remains silent, feeling a little overwhelmed. Despite Sayori's kind reassurance, a complicated feeling of pain and sadness seems to fill her, as though flowing from a wound inside her. Was it a result of her vulnerability? No, it wasn't as though she was inflicted a wound after becoming vulnerable. It was as though she began to rediscover an old wound, one that cannot simply be bandaged and left alone any longer.
I half expected it to go back to the main screen. I'm like, I didn't get to
did
talk
too.
at all. Yuri, like, what are you doing all the way over here? I was, like, looking for you. I, please don't yell at me. I'm not, like, gonna yell at you.
Yuri.
Fucking Yuri, she's a mood. I just, like, wanted to say that I'm sorry for, like, what happened yesterday. It was, like, unfair of me to put everyone on the spot like that. Next time, I won't just try to jump in and solve everyone's problems. I guess it's just, like, a bad habit of mine. You're not mad at me? I thought you were the one mad at me. I was so awful yesterday.
Yuri curls up, recalling the details of the argument.
I can't even have a normal conversation without saying something wrong and making everyone upset. Hold on, that's like not what happened at all. Oh my god. Let's like talk about this, okay?
Yuri pauses for a second, then manages a nod. Monica takes a seat next to her on the staircase.
I'm having a lot of negative thought patterns and I can't get away from them. Like, what kind of negative thought patterns? Like, everyone hates me, especially Natsuki. That's terrible. I don't think Natsuki, like, hates you. Like, how do you know? Well, because...
Monica thinks back to the time that she herself found herself in an altercation with Natsuki, and how a display of maturity from Monica was enough for Natsuki to reevaluate her own feelings as well.
Like, I think Natsuki is just, like, naturally defensive and stuff. I think she, like, acts mean when she feels she needs to protect herself. But, you know, she, like, really isn't a bad person, like, at all. In fact, I think she can be, like, really thoughtful and considerate. She just... Well, I guess the way it works is that she, like, wants to receive some degree of kindness before she, like, feels comfortable returning it. Oh, but that means the burden is on me, and I don't know how to say things that make people like me. Even every time I open my mouth, I just...
Yuri shakes her head at herself and tugs on her own hair.
It's okay, Yuri. Like, you don't need to beat yourself up. I think anyone would like you if they just, like, had the chance to get to know you and stuff. Well, unfortunately, the opposite is true. That's why I'm not talkative anymore in the first place. Because everyone used to think I was weird and talked about me behind my back. That's just what happens when I draw attention to myself. Natsuki even said she found it more respectable when people speak their mind, so I did, and then she hated me anyway. That's just enough to confirm my fears. But Sayori and I like you, and we've, like, gotten to know you a lot by now, right?
Yuri doesn't seem to have a response.
Hey, like, what do you think of Natsuki? I don't think about her. That's, like, not what I meant, really, okay?
Whoa.
I just, I was, like, just wondering if you had, like, an opinion of her. I do. Like, what is it? Natsuki seems to bring out the worst in me, and I feel really ashamed of it. I like to think of myself as a fairly sophisticated person. So, for someone to just treat me like I'm inferior despite my tastes, that's just the worst kind of insult coming from someone like her. And it makes me think bad things about her. But everyone else seems to like her, so the only explanation is that it's me who's doing something wrong again. And my feelings about her are wrong. And I'm wrong to get upset over something so childish and inconsequential. No, Yuri. Feelings are, like, never wrong. Well, they're not right. That's the thing. Feelings are, like, never right or wrong, you know? I almost said wrong first. Oh my god, that'd be so embarrassing. They're just like a state of being that we don't always have, like, control over. But that doesn't mean that they, like, have control of us. Like, I feel like that's something I learned around when I first started this freaking club. We can hate ourselves for, like, feeling a certain way about things, or we can, you know, just acknowledge that they, like, exist and try to, like, understand them better. I could never be mad at you just for, like, feeling a certain way. It's just about how you handle them. And I think working through feelings is, like, a great opportunity for teamwork and stuff.
Oh, Yuri wears a dejected expression. I thought it was... Oh, man.
You make it sound so easy. You're so mature. And so good with people. I feel like such a child in comparison. Yuri, I'm, like, far from perfect. But I'm pretty freaking close. But these are, like, learned skills. They didn't come naturally for me either. It's like really hard to like reflect on yourself and separate your feelings from like your thoughts and stuff. I just want to be a good person. Well, I think it takes a good person to get this frickin' far. That's not good enough. I want to be able to communicate it with her. To her. Communicate like what? Like how I feel. How it makes me feel frustrated and upset when she's so negative and dismissive of the things that mean so much to me. And how it reminds me of me. Because I know that what it's like to feel misunderstood and angry at everyone. I know that telling yourself you're better than everyone else is just a defensive mechanism. We're just people. We're fragile and unstable. But I'm just tired of getting in the way. I can't understand it when when peace is disturbed like this. Yeah, you can't focus on like what you're reading when peace is disturbed, right? Because the literature club should like be happy for everyone.
Monica looks at Yuri in adoration and
Adoration. I feel like Sayori must be like rubbing off on me or something because I just really want to hug you right now. Oh my god, please give me that wallpaper. Sorry, I like didn't mean to make you uncomfortable. No, I mean, well, if you wanted to, then I wouldn't really mind, so.
Monica pulls Yuri into a short embrace.
Damn it! You're so gentle. And I love when you communicate like your feelings. I feel lucky to get to see that side of you and stuff. So I'm sure Natsuki will like too. Oh my god. I'm going to write her a letter. Oh, a letter? What a great idea! Just because I'm not good at talking, especially under pressure. I always let my feelings get the best of me, and I forgot to say all the important things, and I say things I don't mean. Well, I think a letter would be, like, frickin' perfect. Such a nice way to communicate, oh my god.
Yuri's face hardens with determination.
People don't naturally gravitate towards me like they do for you and Sayori. My personality just isn't suited for that, and I wouldn't want it to be. But something I've learned is that friendships don't always just magically appear out of thin air. For instance, I never would have seen myself making friends with someone like Sayori. We're opposite in a lot of ways, but I'm friends with her because she put so much effort into understanding me, and so that we can get along now. I think it was the same with you. You both gave me a lot of time and patience, and I wonder if she feels the same way. Natsuki?
Yuri nods.
I always thought that if I wanted to make more friends, I had to be somebody that I'm not. That there's a type of person or a magical formula I have to follow in order to make someone like me. And that's just like me to think like that. Always so occupied with myself that I fail to understand other people.
Yuri shakes her head.
Friendship happens when you think about the other person. When you offer time and effort to understand them and respect them and trust that they also want to be a good person. That's what I learned through my observations in the literature club. Observations?
Monica's caught by surprise. Yuri has always kept to herself so much that it's so unusual to hear her suddenly talking about the club like this. But Yuri gently smiles to herself.
You always let me listen to your thoughts about people. Sayori too. And it makes me happy because I learn a lot of things. That's like so freaking sweet. I had like no idea that it meant that much to you.
Monica never thought much of it, but in the past weeks, Yuri always seems to be especially attentive when it comes to a problem and concern of others. Always wanting to listen and learn more about her friends in the club. It's true, Sayori and Monica are naturally more comfortable with other people and can more easily work through situations of conflict. But that doesn't make them better people. Everyone has strengths and weaknesses and the capacity to improve. But the first step towards improving one's self is reflecting and self-awareness. It's something that Yuri never gave herself enough credit for, but that Monica can recognize as an incredible trait. And with that, her confidence in the club is restored. A very shy girl with long, pretty, sharp, oh, with long, pretty hair. I thought it said sharp. I don't know how. I don't know where I saw that. But a very shy girl with long, pretty hair is wandering the bustling lunchtime hallways, her fist pressed into her collarbone. When she finds the literature club president's classroom, she stands at the door, glancing all around her, before peering inside. Monica is sitting and chatting with a group of unknown friends. Yeah, as expected, this was a bad idea after all. Suddenly, Monica glances over towards the door, making the girl panic and duck out of sight. Before she can regain composure and decide for sure to leave, the classroom door gently opens.
Yuri, like, what a surprise to see you during lunch.
Yuri squeaks a response.
Please help me. What is, like, everything okay?
Yuri shakes her head.
I don't know how to write letters. Thank goodness. I thought it was like some kind of freaking emergency or something.
Monica briefly glances over her shoulder at her other friends.
Do you want some help? Like, we could go find an empty classroom or something. Is that okay? I feel bad taking you away from your friends. It's like totally fine, I promise. We weren't really like doing anything. One frickin' sec.
Monica trots back into her classroom, saying something like, "I gotta go," to her friends, and then grabs a pen off the desk before returning to Yuri.
Okay, let's like find somewhere quiet.
Yuri nods and follows Monica as the two of them set off.
How are you today? Huh? Me? Well, yes. Oh gosh, sorry. I was just like caught off guard. I'm doing well today, just tired. I never seem to like get enough sleep during the week. How come? Oh, I don't know. I think it's just like I'm easily distracted, and I get like really sucked into things. I start neglecting the time. Me too. I do that too. Hey, this classroom is empty. Let's like go in here.
Appearing inside, Monica opens the classroom door and the two of them enter. Yuri's moment of relaxation ends. She watches as Monica pulls two chairs up to the same desk, then obeys as Monica beckons her to take a seat. She stares down at the empty desk.
You nervous? I don't want to do this. We don't have to. We can come up with like something else.
Yuri shakes her head.
It's my chance to do something good. I need to take initiative. Gosh, you must be really determined. I know like how hard it is to like step out of your comfort zone and stuff. I'll be sure to like encourage you.
Yuri pushes through her anxiety and grabs a handful of lined paper from her notebook. Then she picks up her pen.
Oh.
It could
Hey,
pick a better picture.
You're like left-handed. That's like freaking neat. Yeah. Now I don't have to worry about like bumping your arm.
Monica playfully rubs shoulders against Yuri's.
Oh, my girls. Sorry, I was just like being silly, I guess. Anyway, how about we like start listing the different things you want to say to her?
Yuri thinks.
I feel embarrassed all of a sudden. It's okay. How about some of the things you said to me yesterday? But never mind. I guess I'll try.
Yuri thinks for a moment longer, her tension evident. Then she writes the word reflection.
This is about my reflection on our behavior. The key question is why we act like this towards each other, but have been able to separately be friends with Sayori and Monica. That's me! Yes, it is. So,
Yuri thinks.
I've been able to befriend the two of you because you've taken the time to understand my needs and respect my interests. The same goes for Natsuki too. We started off as pretty hostile to each other because I was so worried about getting what I wanted, but she wanted to be respected more than anything else. Once I stopped making it all about me, she was able to do the same. I want to do that too. So, what kind of things do you want to do for her? I want to do the same things for her that I like to receive. I like it when people respond positively to the things I talk about and not just brush me off. I like it when my feelings are taken seriously. And I like it when you and Sayori trust that I want to be a good person even when I'm not doing a good job at it. Let's write those things down. Okay.
Yuri writes some things down.
I think like the most important thing to remember here is that Natsuki is like feeling vulnerable. So we should make sure that the letter puts her first. It's hard when you're feeling hurt, but it never helps to just tell someone all the things that they're doing wrong. I think first you have to make sure that you know that they know you're ready to respect them and listen to them and like admit the things that you feel you could do better. Then like finally you ask what you would like in return. How does that sound for the structure? It could be like 3 paragraphs, one for each of those points. I like that. My thoughts were so disorganized, I had no idea how to come up with any kind of structure. You're amazing at these things. Oh, stop, girl. Come on. You've done so much more than I have, you know. You spend like so much time reflecting and being open-minded. That's the hardest thing for anyone to do. All I'm doing is like helping you put it in a piece of paper. So I think you're like the amazing one. Oh, look at them looking at each other. My freaking girls.
Yeah, they're blushing looking at each other,
Oh
too.
my god. Why do we have to come along and ruin this shit?
Monica gives Yuri's hand a quick squeeze.
Oh my god.
But as she lets go, she's caught by surprise when Yuri curls her fingers, tucking Monica's hand in place. For a while, they sit like that in silence.
Oh my god.
Save for the occasional scratching of Yuri's pen against the paper.
Yesterday you told me something that I was thinking about a lot. Like, what was that? The thing about feelings aren't right or wrong, and that they're just a state of being we need to come to terms with. You made me think about how a person's behavior isn't always just how they decide to be. It's also made up their past experiences and their insecurities. I think that helps me see other people as actual people, rather than as insignificant side characters who are out to get me somehow. Is that how you feel about Natsuki?
Yuri nods.
But in reality, everyone is always trying their best, and everyone wants to be happy.
Monica peers over at Yuri's paper, but to her surprise, Yuri pulls it in closer, partially covering it with her arm.
I have to be able to like read it to help you out, you know. It's okay. My thoughts are a lot more organized now after being able to talk with you about it. Now that I'm actually putting it on paper, I realize I'd really prefer others not to read it.
Yuri laughs softly to herself, a rare expression.
I'm kind of glad to hear that, actually. I somehow keep finding ways to butt into this whole thing. I've done enough damage. But it's also been so wonderful, like, talking about this. I mean, I always thought you were, like, really smart, but...
Skip it on accident? Yeah. Yuri smiles.
I will, like, oh, damn it. I will always be terrible at these things. People are just so incomprehensible to me, I'll never get the hang of being one. But listening to you so much has really helped me make sense of some things. So just don't call it damage, please.
Monica gives Yuri a gentle smile.
I can't believe I came into this club looking for fantasy geeks and all I got was real friends who value me. Is that a joke? Of course it is. I still can't tell with you sometimes. My god. Sorry. No, I frickin' love it. Please never change, girl. As you wish. My god. My heart.
Yuri glances at the clock.
We're almost out of time. Like, will you be able to finish? Before the end of the day, probably. But I don't want to come to the club the same day that Natsuki reads it. I'm too shy. I can, like, give it to her instead if you'd like.
Yuri nods.
As long as you promise not to read it. Of course, I frickin' promise. Thank you.
Yuri exhales, and the two stand up.
I'll message you when it's ready.
Monica nods.
Good luck, I'm like here if you need me.
Yuri returns a nod, and the two depart.
Oh my
That's
god.
probably it.
Oh my god, my little heart.